Hello everyone, this is Tina from Tina's Workshop, and today we are going to make a crocheted rose for Valentine's Day. And they are so pretty. Look at these, you guys. Come on, let's see, focus on that. So I'm going to show you how to make this rose. And this one's in red. The one I'm going to actually show you is going to be in white. And it's got a long stem rose, and you can make a dozen of them, or you can make just one. They are very, very easy, super easy to make. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to put you on table cam, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so I am using Caron Simply Soft in the colorway of Dark Sage and White, and a size H crochet hook. I'm using a Furls Odyssey. You can use any yarn and any hook. I recommend that you choose a hook to match what is recommended for your yarn, either that size or size up or down. I wouldn't vary any further than that. Just remember, if you are using a smaller hook and smaller yarn, you're going to have a smaller rose. And if you're using a bigger hook and bigger yarn, you're going to have a bigger rose. So this is what I am using. If you are new to crocheting, you may not want to use this because this yarn is kind of a splitty yarn. These threads like to kind of come apart sometimes and you catch them, and it can be really frustrating if you are a new crocheter. Okay, and then I also am using this paper wrapped wire for the stem of the rose. And it is called the Bloom Room Arranging Supplies stem wire. I found this at Joann's. You get 6 of them for $3.99. This is flexible because it's a wire. It's nice and sturdy, but if you don't want to use this, you could also use just a plain dowel. And these are just like, I think, 1/4 inch dowels. And you can usually get this in a pack of like 12. And then I have some wire snips because I'm going to cut a little bit off of the end of that wire because I don't want it that long. And then, of course, scissors and a yarn needle. And hot glue. I'm going to use hot glue too. Okay, so we are going to start with the green yarn. And we are going to do a slip stitch. So for a slip stitch, what I do is I take my little loop here, I put my fingers in it, I twist it, and I grab whichever yarn is the under yarn, and I grab a hold of that, and I pull myself up a loop. And when you get used to that one, it's so super easy to do. It takes you no time to do it. Okay, and then we are going to start off with a chain of 26. So to do a chain, you're just going to put your hook into the loop, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull through. There's your chain. So again, yarn over, pull through. Now, if you are a regular crocheter and you generally use a larger hook to do your chain because your chains are tight, you can do that if you want, but it's not going to matter too much for this project. So I have 2 chains there. We want 26. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay. Now we are going to work into the second chain from the hook. So right there. Okay, So we are going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is right. I'm making this harder on myself than it needs to be. Okay, there's the first chain. There's the second chain. So we're going to go into that one right there. Is that focused? Oh, come on, focus. Okay, so first chain, second chain. And we are going to work a single crochet. So you're going to put your hook into that chain. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through. So now you have 2 loops on your hook and you're going to yarn over and pull through both of them. And then we're going to do that again. So into the next stitch and the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. And we're going to do that all the way down. So when you're done, you will have 25 single crochets. Okay, so now we're all the way to the end. I've yarned over, but I haven't pulled through yet. I'm going to pick up that tail. And if you forget to do this, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to pick up the tail, yarn over both of them, and pull them both through. And then finish pulling that tail through. Put my hook back into the loop. Now the tail is up to the row I'm working, and I can work over it so I don't have to weave it in later. And I'm not speeding up any of this video since it is such a super simple and quick rows. That way you can work along with me the whole time and you don't have to worry about pausing. Okay, so now we're going to work a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that first stitch, which is actually going to be right here. If you look at the top of your work, you'll see these little V's. And we are working in stitches so that we're going to go right underneath that V. So both of those pieces of the V are going to be on top of your hook. So each stitch we're going in right underneath those 2 bars of the yarn. Okay? So we are going to start by yarn over, go into that first stitch. Again, it's right here. It's right up against. You're going to work over your yarn so that yarn tail is over your hook. Yarn over, pull through. You now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, we're going to do that again. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through all 3. And we're going to do that all the way to the other end, working over our tail the whole way. So you can see the tail is now hidden. So Okay, we're down towards the end. We've got 2 stitches left. We're going into that stitch there. Then at the end, you can see this kind of loop there. Come on, focus. Still not focusing. There. We are going to go right in to here. And we're going to yarn over, go into there. We're going to make sure we pick up 2 stitches or 2 yarn pieces, threads, whatever, those things. And yarn over, pull through. We now have the 3 loops. Oh, and that yarn is splitty on me. Hold on. Okay. So there's the 3 loops. Now we're going to change colors. So I'm going to pick up my next yarn, just hold it there, yarn over with the white and pull through all 3. Now we're going to turn. And I forgot to mention earlier, if you noticed, I'm not chaining when I turn. I'm just lifting the stitch a little bit, which will give us a straighter edge here. You can chain. It's not going to really matter, especially not with this project, but without chaining and just lifting that a little bit, we're going to get a straight edge because of the stitches we're doing. The single and the half double, we can do that. If you were doing larger stitches like a double crochet, you would only chain 1 and lift that stitch a little bit. So for this one, we're just lifting a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to work single crochets in the back loop only. So you know how I showed you the V. You got that V on the top there. And you have the 2 bars. We're going to work into the back bar only. So that's your back loop. Okay. So we're going to go into that very first one here, the same one that this stitch is coming out of. And we're going to make sure that we go under that tail too. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Single crochet, back loop only. So again, you could just put your hook right down in the center of that V, picking up just the back loop and our tail, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. We're going to do that all the way down, working into the back loop only and working over our tail. One less thing to weave in later. And as we get to the end of our tail, oop, did you see how that yarn split on me there? You see? Here, let's see. You see how it splits? Okay. So I'm at the end of the tail. This side that has this little line we're creating right now, that's going to be the front of our work. So I can leave that little tail to the back and it's going to get hidden in what we're doing later. So then just continue. Oop. Working in the back loop all the way to the end. What just happened? The reason I like, if you're wondering why I use this Caron Simply Soft when it splits so much, the reason I like this yarn is it has a really pretty sheen to it and it's very nice and soft. So I do like it for that, depending on what I'm making. And I think for these roses, it's really nice and pretty and it's got a nice rich color. And with that little sheen, I think it just gives it something extra. But I thought about, I have a bunch of yarn that's got like a glittery stripe to it. I thought about that. That might be pretty. I think fingering weight yarn could be fun to do. It wouldn't be a realistic size of a rose, but it could be fun. Okay, we're coming to the end now. And on this last stitch, instead of trying to work in the back loop, we're just going to go into that full stitch again, because again, this is not going to be seen later, so it's not going to matter. So just give that stitch a little bit of a lift and turn it. And now we're going to work regular single crochets all the way across. So we're going to go into that very first stitch right there. You can see if the camera focuses. Come on, focus. Why aren't you focusing? So right there, that's where we're going to go in. And we're just going to work a regular single crochet all the way to the other end. Oh, and I forgot to mention, now, the reason I keep forgetting to mention things is I recorded this almost to the end before I realized for some reason the program had shut off and it wasn't recording. So I have to remember the things to say that I already said in the other video. But this green yarn, do not cut it. Leave the green yarn attached. So hopefully you didn't cut it. If you did, it's okay. You'll just have more ends to weave in later. Okay, we're at the end again. Gonna go into that last stitch there. Lift that stitch a little bit. Turn our work. And we're gonna do one more row of single crochet all the way across. Okay. Now we're going to turn our work and we're going to start our petals. I had to stop and get a little tea. I had a little tickle in my throat. Okay. So our first petal, we are going to do half double crochets. So again, you're going to yarn over, and then can you see that little hole right there? We're going to go right in there. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through all three. Now we're going to do 5 of those in that same space. So yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our first petal. Now we're going to do a slip stitch. So for a slip stitch, you're going to start off like a single crochet, but end a little differently. So we're going to go in that next stitch there, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through, but then we're going to continue to pull through that first loop. Okay, then we're going to do 5 half double crochets in the next stitch. Oop. 2. Oh, that yarn split on me again. There we go. 3. 4. 5. Okay, now another slip stitch. So hook in the hole, yarn over, pull through, and then continue to pull through that other loop. 5 more half doubles in the next stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5. And another slip stitch. Okay, so there's our first 3 petals. Now we're going to change another stitch. We're going to do a double crochet this time. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into that next stitch. We're going to yarn over. We have the 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and pull through only the first 2. There's 2 loops left. We're going to yarn over and pull through both of them. So that's your double crochet. So again, yarn over. We're going back in that same stitch. Yarn over. We got 3, so that's like our half double, but we're only going to pull through the first 2 and then pull through the second 2. We're going to do 5 of those. So we just did 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the next stitch will be a slip. And then we're going to do 5 double crochet in the next one. Okay, next one is going to be a slip stitch. And then 5 more double crochet in the next one. Now I'm in the process of writing up this pattern, and when I do get it all written up, I will put it on Ravelry, and as soon as I do that, I will put the link to it in the description down below. So if you come to this video later on and the link is not in the description, then I do not have it up on Ravelry yet. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then slip stitch. And then we're going to do another 5 double crochets in the next one. And then a slip stitch. Okay, so we now have 3 little petals, which are our half doubles, and we have 4 medium petals, which are our double crochets. And now we're going to finish off with 5 large petals. So our next one is another new stitch. We are going to do a treble crochet. So we are going to yarn over twice and then go into that next stitch, yarn over and pull through. So we now have 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So here we go again. We're going to yarn over twice, go into that stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, One more. Yeah. Okay, so we have 3 trebles so far. We are going to chain 2, and then we are going to do 3 more trebles in that same stitch. So we're going to have a total of 6 trebles, so not 5, we're going to have a total of 6 in this stitch. But right in the middle you have a chain 2. And that's just giving us an extra little bit of shape on our large petal. And then the next stitch again is a slip stitch. So there's what the large petal looks like. So there was the medium petal, here's the large petal. So that chain 2 just gives that extra little bit right there at the top. Okay, so now we've got 4 more of those to do. So each one of the large petals, you do 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch. Okay. Another large petal. 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2 and 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And then a slip stitch. And we still have 2 more petals. Right? Yep. Okay. 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch. Okay, another petal. 1, 2, 3. Slips. Sorry. Chain 2. 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we should have 5 large petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch down into the last stitch. Oh, come on. Always when you're filming. Okay, so now we're going to cut this, but we're going to leave a longer tail, and we're just going to pull it out. So this is what we have now. So now we're going to use that green that we left there, and we're going to go to this front side where we left those front loops, and we're going to take this yarn to the back. We're going to go into a white space right here above the green, and we're going to grab that yarn and pull it through. So now it's at the front of our work. So now we're going to just kind of fold this. Just makes it a little bit easier. And we're going to work into those loops. So those loops we left, we're going to work into it. And we are going to do a double crochet into that loop. So go right into that. And make a double crochet. And then we're going to do a picot stitch. So we're going to chain 3. And then right at the top of that stitch, there's like a little V right here. And we're going to go right into that. We're going to pick up those 2 bars. And we're going to do a slip stitch. And that makes our little picot, which just folded that chain in half right there and makes a little tip. So now we're going to go into the next loop and we're going to do a single crochet. And in the next one, we're going to do another double crochet and a picot. So double crochet, chain 3, and then right there is where that space is we're going into. And do a slip. And then the next one's a single. And we're going to do 5 repeats of those 2 stitches. So we've got 2 so far, we need 3 more. So double crochet. Our picot. And then a single crochet. Double crochet. The picot. Single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1 more set. So double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch, creating our picot, except that I just dropped my stitch. Come on. Okay, try that again. A single crochet. I've been crocheting for 47 years now, and I can still make mistakes. Okay, so that's the extent of that. We are going to now leave ourselves a long tail again, and we're going to cut it and pull that out. So there is our rose. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so if you take your rose, and I like to just kind of give these a little tug, and then pull our, okay, and then I like to take these ones and give them a little tug. Then we're going to flip it over and go down to where the tiny petals are. And in a few minutes, we're going to put it on the stem, but I'm just showing you the rose for right now. You just start to roll this, and it's going to roll all the way to the other end, right around, and our 2 picots here are going to almost match. And then you can fluff out your rose. There is your rose. Isn't that pretty? Okay. But before we put it together, we're going to make a leaf to go with it. And years ago, I did a tutorial on my personal page before I ever had a YouTube channel because I had friends that had asked me to give them a tutorial on a rose. And I elaborated on that rose to create this rose. And that one was to use as an applique, where this is three-dimensional. You wouldn't sew this down onto something. But if you did the first, without using the green, only your flower color, do your chain and then your single crochet row, and then immediately start into your petals, then you will have a piece that is only that high, and then you can sew this down onto a baby blanket or a Christmas stocking or different things like that, and you'll have an applique rose. So you can do that too. And I use the leaf a lot of times with that too, and I'll have the leaves coming out like this. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and we are going to make the leaf using the green. Okay, so for our leaf, we are going to start off with our slip knot again. And we're going to chain 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Oop. Helps if I'm in screen. So we're chaining 14, and in that second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet. And then in the next one, we're going to do a single crochet. Oh, come on. Okay. Sorry, my battery was being mean to me. Okay, so we've done 2 single crochets. In the next stitch, we're going to do a half double crochet for the next chain. In the next one, we're going to do another half double crochet. The next one, we're going to do a double crochet. And then another double crochet. Then we're going to do a treble crochet. And then another double crochet. Another double crochet. A half double crochet. And another half double crochet. A single crochet. And another single crochet. So we did 2 singles, 2 half doubles, 2 doubles, 1 treble, 2 doubles, 2 half doubles, 2 singles. So there's 1/2 of our leaf. Now I want a pointy tip on my leaf. So I'm going to do another single crochet in that same spot. And then I'm going to do a picot. So chain 3. And then do that slip stitch into the top of the single. And now I'm going to start on the other side, and I'm going to do another single crochet in that same space. And then working over my tail, next stitch I'm doing, which is into that chain, I'm working another single. So I now have my 2 singles. And these are going to line up with our stitches on the other side. So now I'm going to do 2 half doubles. 1, 2, 2 doubles, 1, 2, and then a treble, 2 doubles, and come on, focus. You guys got to tell me when that camera's out of focus so I can put it back in focus for you. Okay, 2 half doubles. And then 2 singles. Okay. We're going to cut ourselves not a very long tail, just a tiny tail really. Pull it out. Now this tail here has been worked over, and if you don't know which one it is, if you give it a tug, you'll see it tighten your whole thing. So you can clip that tail, and it's going to get hidden inside. And there's the front of your leaf. Okay, so now we have our rose and our leaf, and we just need to put them all together. Okay, I've got my hot glue gun going over here and heating up. And we're going to take this and we're going to take 5 inches off of it. And if you've ever noticed, my tabletop is actually one of those self-healing mats. So I automatically have my inches and stuff right here. So each one of these blocks is an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll lay it there. And I'm going to clip it right here. So now it's shorter. And why did I take 5 inches off? Because that was just I liked the length of this and I thought it was too long the other way. I snipped a piece off of the first one I did, and then I measured that piece and it was 5 inches. So that's what I did the rest at. So these can be any length you want them to be. It is now 13 inches. So, but yours can be any length you want. Okay, so hot glue gun looks like it is heated up now. So we're going to unroll this rose again. And we're going to put a little bit of glue just right along here. I've got this really cool Ryobi that sits in a stand and it's battery operated, so it's not all corded. It's so nice, but it does get very, very hot. So we're going to put the stick in right there. And we're going to roll this, being careful because that glue is going to come through those stitches. So you don't want to burn your fingers. And I like to roll it up about halfway. Put just another little dab of glue. Not much. You can see that barely any I put there, just enough to kind of hold it. And see why I said it doesn't matter about those, because it's going to be inside our piece. So now this is going to come right up against there, and I'm going to put a little glue right here. And carefully push that right against there. Okay, so now this is the only time you need to do any weaving in of ends. So I'm going to take the white and I'm going to go in and go all the way through the rose. So you can see it's coming out here. That is going to tighten that stitch down, and it's going to give another little added bit that's going to hold this rose together. It should hold together just fine from that little bit of glue, but I still like to stick it through just a few times. Now I'm going over to the side and then go straight across again. Okay. And then we're just going to clip that thread. Now we're going to pick up our green. Now the green we're going to do a little bit more stitching with, because I want to close that little gap that's right there and make it look nicer. So I'm going to pull this over. I'm going to go I'm going to do like a whip stitch. So I'm actually going to go into this piece here and pull it all the way through and tighten that up. And it might be a little tricky depending on how much glue you got on there. And if it is, then just work around your glue. And you only need about 3 stitches there. It just makes that a little bit cleaner there. And then we're going to go around this base, and we're going to go in and out of either every other stitch or every 2 stitches, however you want. And we're going to go all the way back around to where we just started. And then we're going to pull that. So let's see, get this in the best spot that you can see. We're going to pull that, and it's going to pull it tight around our stem. And then you can either just wrap this, or you can go around and then go back through that loop if it stays in focus long enough, and give it a little pull, and it kind of creates like a little knot, and I do that twice. And pull it up, pull my needle off. So that's what it looks like right now. That way that's just tightened down, and I don't have to worry about having some glue right there or anything else. It's one less spot that needs glue. So now we're going to take this and we are going to wrap it around our stick. And the easiest way to do that is going to be to use one hand to turn either here or here, and the other hand you're holding tension on your string, on your yarn, and your finger up here, which is going to guide it to keep it in line. And we're just going to wrap it down that stem. And we'll wrap it as far as it will go. So just use whichever hand feels better for you. See, again, I'm doing the same thing. I just switched hands. And if your hand starts to get tired from doing this, then switch hands. And when I get to the end of that piece of yarn that I have, that tail, I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. Just a little bit. Again, you don't want to burn your fingers. You don't want it squeezing out. And that's going to hold that little piece there. Now, what I have been doing, and this is up to you, this is your rose. What I've been doing is when I got to the end of this, that's when I decide to put my leaf on. But if you want your leaf down lower, then by all means, use more yarn, work down lower. I was like, wherever that stopped, that's where I'm putting my leaf. So to put your leaf on, make sure you have your front side up. Remember, front and back, front side up. And this is going to get hidden in a minute, or used. And I put a little bit of glue right down the center, and then a little bit onto one of the sides. Or you can do both sides, but it really only needs one side. I found it's easier to put it onto the leaf than onto the stem. And then make sure that this, where the green ends, is just below where your glue starts. And then pull without burning yourself, because remember it's going to squeeze through the holes. Pull that over and shut. And just gently, because you also don't want to squeeze too much through the holes if you can help it. So now that is all down inside. Okay. And then that tail that you have, we're going to just go ahead. Nope. I think I need another little, again, things always happen when you film. I need another little tiny dab of glue just right there. Okay. So now you're just going to take that little tail you have, and you're going to go ahead and wrap it. You might as well use what you have. There's no reason to waste anything. And we're going to put another little tiny dab of glue right there. And again, you see how I smooth that out so that I don't have anything big and thick that's going to stick out and cause a lump. And that tail doesn't have to look pretty because I'm going to go right over it. So now I'm going back to my skein. And I'm going to start with this. So to do that, again, we're going to put a little bit of glue. I like to rotate away from that so I'm not fighting it. And we're just going to put a little line of glue here, spreading it out again. And I'll just stick that right there. And then we're going to start wrapping up here. So just above where the green ended. And we're just going to keep wrapping. And at this point, we're being really careful because we're trying to get it over that glue and over our ends so that we don't have anything showing or looking messy. We don't want a messy rose. And as soon as we get past this, then we can move a little quicker again. Okay, so now, again, I can just wrap, and we're going to go all the way to the end. Now, if you wanted more leaves on your rose, you could make more leaves and you could add those in. I did one leaf on each rose, and I just did it at that point because, to be perfectly honest, when I did the first one, I went, yeah, I'll just put it there. And it worked. Okay. Now, I will be being perfectly honest. Right here, I can feel that's hurting a little bit from spinning this. And this is the 12th one I've done. But I have learned that even just doing this and switching to this hand, and I'm still pretty much doing the same movement, but for some reason, it changes the way that muscle's working and it doesn't hurt as much. Because there's no reason to make yourself hurt by doing our fun projects. Okay, we're just going to go all the way to the end. Okay, so now we're right up at the end. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Again, not a whole lot, but I am going to put a little bit all the way around it because I want that whole thing to kind of close off. And I even put it right on the end. It's very little amount. But now I'm going to wrap this till I get all the way to the tip. So now it slid off. I'm at the tip. I'm going to clip this kind of short right there. And then very carefully, I'm going to tuck in that end. And, oops, sorry, I'm out of frame. Sorry about that. Tuck in that end to the best of my ability. So we have a finished off end. And then your leaf, if you want, you can leave it up like this, or you can bend it down. You can do it however you want. You can leave your rose. It's hard to position this. I guess I'll bend it. You can leave it closed off like this, or you can give it a little push and fluff and open it up. So, because I used the wire, I can bend it. So now I have my last rose to put in my vase. So now I have a dozen roses. Aren't they pretty? And if you're wondering why, look at a little crocheted vase. If you're wondering why they are colored the way they are, I'm actually kind of curious if anyone can figure out why they are colored like this. And in the thumbnail, might have helped you guess. So I only had so much red, and I really liked the red. I thought it was pretty, and I'm like, I'm not going to have enough to do them all. So let's pick another color too. And I was thinking of the white. My son liked the idea of the white too. And he said, wait, Mom, painting the roses red. I was like, that's a brilliant idea. So I took 3 of the roses and I randomly used red and white, and I painted the roses red. So we have 3 roses in progress, 5 roses that are already painted, and 3 roses that are still white and need painted. So we've got our dozen red in process of roses. But I think they are absolutely adorable. Super, super easy. I've seen roses done that are really almost realistic looking. And I actually started making one time, but there's a lot of work in those. And I wanted something that would be quick. Plus, my son had just asked me to do put roses onto this blanket that folds up and looks like a bouquet. And I decided to use these roses. And I altered my original applique pattern to do so. And I thought these came out really cool. And my son says, Mom, Valentine's Day is coming up. This would be a great video for you to do. So I brought you some easy roses. And you can make someone roses for Valentine's Day or any other time of the year. Mother's Day, birthdays, just because you want them in the center of your table. I think they are really pretty. I love them. I hope you like these too. If you do, make sure and click like and subscribe. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye.